Hello everyone, my name is Jefferson Cablang and I'm here to discuss the different retail pricing strategies. There are many sources that says that there are 7 pricing strategies. Others tell 5 or sometimes just 4, but I am here to discuss 12 of them. So without further ado, let's get started. There are 12 different pricing strategies: MSRP, keystone pricing, bundle pricing, discount pricing, penetration pricing, loss leading pricing, psychological pricing, competitive pricing, premium pricing, anchor pricing, channel-based pricing, and wholesale pricing. I will discuss each strategies one by one. The first strategy is MSRP. This approach takes the guesswork out of price setting for retailers, saving them time and energy. But offering certain products at MSRP can lower your competitive edge on the particular products. After all, if you offer the same item at the same time, at the same price as other retailers, how do you set yourself apart? Keystone pricing. Similar to the MSRP, this approach saves retailers time and energy, as it doesn't require too many calculations to determine the retail price of a product. Although keystone pricing may work for some items, it won't work for all of them. For items that are truly worth more, you may be setting the price too low, which means you won't achieve the profit margins you feasibly could on that item. For other items, keystone pricing may be too high, which will end up hurting your sales, especially there is a nearby competitor selling the item for a cheaper price. The next strategy is bundle pricing. Bundle pricing often leads to larger volume purchases of certain products or product groups. If you have unsold inventory you're trying to move, this could be a smart tactic to employ. Once you offer items in a bundle package at a low cost, it can be harder to sell them separately at their original price. This is due to what is called cognitive dissonance, whereby the customers believe they're getting less value for the amount they pay because they're comparing it to the bundle of the deal that was previously available, even if the bundle deal was more expensive than the individually priced item. Discount pricing. This is the next strategy. Discount pricing can be a great way for retailers to get rid of slow-moving or out-of-season items. If you offer discounts too frequently, it can lower your brand's perceived value in customers' eyes, making them unwilling to pay full price for your goods and services. The next strategy is called penetration pricing. Penetration is offering low prices than the established competition. It can help retailers strike the right chord with shoppers, helping them to build a loyal customer from day one. But if you make the switch from your initial low prices to regular pricing too abruptly, it has the potential to backfire and alienate the customers you had acquired by that point. The next type of strategy is called loss leading pricing. This approach often increases the average transaction value, or ATV, or the amount of a shopper spends in a single shopping trip. But when it comes to implementing loss leading pricing, it's crucial to strike the right balance in customer service. Just as you don't want your customers to feel forced by the staff to purchase items they don't need, you also don't want to risk losing money by only selling discounted items and not much else. The next type of strategy is called psychological pricing. Psychological pricing is especially useful for brands that want to increase their overall sales volume by driving customers to make impulse purchases of cheap to mid-range items. But not all brands should implement psychological pricing. In fact, if you're a premium or luxury brand, implementing psychological pricing can have the opposite of the intended effect in that it makes you seem cheap or gimmicky in the customer's eyes. The next type of pricing is called competitive pricing. From the word itself, competitive is for large retailers who are able to negotiate deals to lower their unit cost. The competitive pricing approach can really make a difference in getting ahead of the competition. But for smaller retailers, the only way this practice can be sustainable is to ensure that you sell high volumes of the product. Also, depending on the product, it can make customers think of your brand as the discount alternative to other brands. The next type of pricing is called premium pricing. When combined with the right marketing tactics, this approach can help your brand be perceived as premium or luxury brand. The disadvantage is that depending on your target customer group, premium pricing may not have the way to go. There are many factors at play here other than a product's price and perceived value, such as your customers' buying power, the quality of your competitors' offering, or even your geographical location. The next type of pricing is called anchor pricing. Listing the anchor price along with the discounted price makes the customer feel like they're getting a deal, which can serve as an incentive to buy the item. Although, don't be tempted to increase your anchor price to an unreasonable level. Keep in mind that customers are much savvier today than they used to be. And thanks to the prevalence of smartphones, they can access their competitors' prices in just a few seconds. The next type of pricing is channel-based pricing. For retailers looking to promote one channel over another, say to drive their e-commerce operations or to draw more people into stores, channel-based pricing can be used as a great incentive for customers to choose the particular channel. But customers may feel outright cheated if they see that you offer the same product at two distinct price points. One way to get around that is to keep prices the same but offer a channel-specific discount, one that's applicable only online or only in your store. The last strategy is called wholesale pricing. Offering products at wholesale is a great option for retailers looking to move large quantities of slow-moving inventory. But this approach can also be used by brands looking to introduce their proprietary designs to a whole new group of shoppers. Although, for wholesale pricing to be sustainable for your business, you must ensure that your sales volume stays consistently high, meaning you'll have to make sure that the quantity of items in each order meets the minimum required amount. So, what are the factors that retailers consider when pricing their products? The first one is cost. First and foremost, you need to be financially informed. Before you set your pricing, work out the cost involved with running your business. This includes your fixed cost or your direct cost. The next factor to be considered is your customers. Of course, you should know your customers, what they want from your products or your services. Are they driven by the cheapest price or are they enticed by the quality? The next factor to be considered is positioning. Once you understand your customer, you need to look at your positioning. Where do you want to be in the marketplace? Do you want to be the most expensive, or luxurious, or the high end in your industry? The next factor to be considered is your competitors. This is one of the key times you can give yourself permission to do a little competitor snooping. What are they charging for the different products that they offer? What level of service are they offering for their products? What customers are they attracting to buy their products? Of course, the last factor to be considered when pricing a product is your profit. One of the most important questions business owners ask themselves is, how much profit do I want to make? They tend to look at what others charge and then pull a figure out of the air to be competitive without giving consideration to how much profit they want and they need. The next question to be answered is, what is the difference between high and low pricing strategy to everyday low pricing strategy, or EDLP? And here is my answer. High and low pricing strategy is a strategy that set prices high but then periodically offer consumers lower prices through sales, promotions, or coupons. Example of companies that uses this type of strategy is Adidas or Nike. EDLP is a pricing strategy which a company charges a consistently low price over a long time horizon. For the consumer, EDLP simplifies decision making and search costs. For the company, EDLP minimizes marketing costs, staff efforts, and helps with demand forecasting. Companies who uses EDLP are well known. For example, Walmart, Amazon, Procter & Gamble, trade shows who are offering low pricing approach.
The first one is manufacturing cost. The retail company considers both fixed and variable costs of manufacturing the product. The fixed cost doesn't vary depending upon the production volume. For example is property tax. The variable costs include varying costs of raw materials and costs depend upon the volume of production. For example is labor. These costs also include the cost of direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. Direct materials are the materials used in the construction of a product. Direct labor is that portion of the labor cost of production process that is assigned to a unit of production. Manufacturing overhead are applied in a unit of production based on the variety of possible allocation systems such as direct labor hours and machine hours incurred. Other types that may include in the manufacturing overhead costs are the salaries and wages, equipment parts, repairs and supplies, factory utilities, etc. The second internal factor is predetermined objectives. While setting the prices of a product, the marketer should consider the objectives of the company. For instance, the objective of the retail company varies with time and market situations. If the objective is to increase the return on investment, then the company may charge a higher price. If the objective is to increase the market share, then the company may charge a lower price. The third factor is image of the firm. The retail company may consider its own image in the market. For example, companies with large goodwill such as Procter & Gamble can demand a higher price for their product. Goodwill is an intangible asset that is associated with the purchase of one company by another. It arises when a buyer acquires an existing business. Today, Procter & Gamble are the world's largest consumer goods company. Some of the famous products in the Philippines are Ariel, Pampers, Tide, Gillette, Pantene, etc. The fourth internal factor is product status, the stage at which the product is in its product life cycle determines its price. At the time introducing the product in the market, the company may charge lower price for it to attract new customers. And when the product is accepted and well established in the market, the company increases the price. Also, differences in customer behavior in different geographic markets as well as price sensitivity by channels are complicating factors. No one pricing tactic will be enough, but one thing is for sure. Getting the pricing right at the right time can be a game changer for the retailers. The last internal factor is promotional activities. Promotional activities not only increases the sales, but it also gives you the opportunity to provide positive customer experience. But if the company is spending high cost in advertising and sales promotion, then it keeps the product price high in order to recover the cost of investments. I listed some of the promotional activities. The first one is offer free samples. Second is add a gift with each purchase. Third one is organize contests. Fourth is schedule sales and offer discounts. 5 is buy one get one. Number 6 is offer coupons. 7 is organize joint promotions. 8 partner with the cause. And 9 create loyalty program. The first external factor is competition. In case of high competition, the prices may be set low to face the competition effectively. But if there's less competition, the prices may be kept high. Competition not always is good for the consumers. When more people can afford to buy the product, it encourages the businesses to produce and boost the economy in general. Competition also encourages the businesses to improve the quality of goods and services they sell, to attract more customers and expand the market share. The second external factor is buying power of consumers. The sensitivity of customers towards price variation and the purchasing power of customers contribute to setting price. Consumers' buying behavior is a vital element for small businesses to understand so that they can effectively price, sell, and market their product. It is essentially the consumer's ability to make a purchase with the amount of money they have available to them. The third external factor is government policies. Government rules and regulations about manufacturing and announcement of administered prices can increase the price of product. Price controls are government mandated, legal minimum and maximum prices set for specified goods. They are usually implemented as a means of direct economic interventions to manage the affordability of certain goods. The fourth external factor is market conditions. If market is under recession, consumers' buying pattern changes. To modify their behavior, the prices are set less. A recession is when the economy slows down for at least 6 months. That means there are fewer jobs, people are making less and so spending less money, and businesses are stop growing and may even close. The last external factor is levels of channels involved. The retailer must consider the number of channels involved from manufacturing to retail and their expectations. The deeper the level of channel, the higher will be the product price. There are 2 types of channels, direct and indirect. Direct distribution channel is managed and organized by the manufacturer itself. It is difficult to manage at a large scale, but it often allows the manufacturer to have a better connections with its customer base. And the next one is the indirect distribution channel. It relies on intermediaries to perform most of all the distribution functions, also known as wholesale distribution. The most challenging part in indirect distribution channel is that another party has to be entrusted by the manufacturer's product and customer interaction. Demand-oriented pricing strategy. The price charge is high if there's a high demand for the product and low if the demand is low. The methods employed while pricing the product on the basis of demand are: first is price skimming. Initially, the product is charged at high price that the customer is willing to pay, and it decreases gradually with time. Second is uneven pricing. The customers perceive prices like 99.99, 11.49 to be cheaper than 100. And next is penetration pricing. Price is reduced to compete with other similar product to allow more customer penetration. And the fourth one is prestige pricing. Pricing is done to convey quality of the product. Lastly, price bundling. The offer of additional product or service combined with the main product together with special price. Cost-oriented pricing strategy. A method of determining prices that takes retail companies' profit objectives and product cost into account. These methods include the following. The first one is the cost-plus pricing. The company sets prices little above the manufacturing cost. For example, if the cost of the product is 600 per unit and the marketer is expecting 10% of profit, then the selling price will be 660. The next one is the markup pricing. The markups are calculated as a percentage of selling price and not as a percentage of the cost price. The next one is the break-even pricing. The retail company determines the level of sales needed to cover all the relevant fixed and variable costs. They break even when there is neither profit nor loss. The fourth one is the target return pricing. The retail company sets prices in order to achieve a particular return of investment. The fifth one is the early cash recovery pricing. When market forecasts depict short life, it is essential for the price-sensitive product segments such as fashion and technology to recover the investment. Sometimes companies anticipates a larger company entry in the market. In these cases, the companies price their products to shorten the risk and to maximize the short-term profit. Competition-oriented pricing strategy. When a retail company sets the prices for its product, depending on how much the competitor is charging for a similar product, it is considered to be competition-oriented pricing. Under of that, there's two. The first one is the competitor's parity. The retail company may set the prices as close as the giant competitor in the market. The second one is the discount pricing. A product is priced at low cost if it is lacking some feature than the competitor's product. And lastly, differential pricing strategy. The company may charge different prices for the same product or service. The first one is customer segment pricing. The price is charged differently per customers from different customer segments. For example, customers who purchase online may be charged less as the cost of service is low for the segment of online customers. Then the second one is the time pricing. The retailer charges the price depending upon time, seasons, occasions, etc. For example, many resorts may charge more for their vacation packages depending on the time of year. And then the third one is the location pricing. The retailer charges the price depending on where the customer is located. For example, at the drama theater, front row seats are more expensive than the rear row seats. How do retailers set retail prices? Theoretically, retailers maximize their profit by setting prices based on price sensitivity of customers, the cost of merchandise, and considering the price being charged by the competitors. In reality, retailers need to set price for over 50,000 stock keeping units many times during year. Set prices based on predetermined markup and merchandise cost. Make adjustments to markup price based on customer price sensitivity and competition.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I am Michelle Payumo, the next reporter of Group 4, which is Retail Pricing. And the topic that is assigned on me is Markdown. So now, let us start in discussing what is markdown. Markdown is a price reduction on an item that is unable to sell for its original price. Retailers apply markdown to their products that are slow-moving or slow-selling. They perform this strategy in order to sell those products and for it not to turn out as a profit loss. Some of us may say that it is the same with discounts, and in customers' view, it is similar because it both reduce product's price, but it has differences. Markdown is that retailers reducing the product's price because it cannot be sold on its original price, and all shop customers may avail this markdown. While in discount, the item's price is reduced based on who is buying the product. Not all customers may avail the discount, only those who pass the discounts criteria, just like senior citizen, student discount, and for loyal customer discounts. Before we move on discussing more about markdown, let us talk about inventory management first, since it plays such role in implementing markdown strategy on a product. With the help of inventory, we are able to identify which products are moving slow or moving fast, which products are popular with customers and which are not, and just staying on the store shelves. Through the inventory management, we can categorize which product necessarily needs the application of markdown, so retailers can turn this slow-moving merchandise into cash and increase the cash flow. If the inventory is strong and we are not able to identify what product truly needs the application of markdown, this may result to profit loss. And according to Coresight Research, in the year 2018, US nearly lost $300 billion or 12% of their overall retail revenue, and it is because of wrong implementation of markdowns, and 53% of it is due to mismanagement of their inventory. So all in all, retailers must manage their inventory very well to avoid the wrong implementation of markdowns. So back to the main topic, which is markdown. Markdown is a strategy or technique that is being applied to a product that are not being sold or just staying on the store shelves for a long time. Markdown reduces the original price of the product in order to entice or attract the customer's attention and leads in buying the said product. For example, a retail shop owner buys 4 pairs of shoes with colors white, black, blue, and green. And each pair of shoes costs 200 pesos and set the retail price for 300 pesos. After 1 month, through the help of inventory, the owner identified that the black, white, and color blue of shoes has been sold out, and none of the green color shoes has been sold. In this case, the retail shop owner will mark down or reduce the original selling price of the green color shoes from 300 pesos to 240 pesos. Although the profit has been reduced, at least the shop recoup or regain the initial investment they put in green color shoes. The shop was able to get rid of slow selling products while having a profit at the same time with the help of markdown. So now that we are having an idea on what markdown is, now let's proceed with the different types of markdown, which is the clearance markdown, damaged good markdown, and competitive markdown. For clearance markdown, it is when a retailer wants to get rid of less attractive products for the customers and doesn't want to restock it again. So instead of eliminating or just throwing it away or just stock it in the warehouse and occupy much space, they are going to lower the price in order for the said product to be sold and can still provide profit for them. In damaged goods markdown, it is when an item or a product has a defect or damage. It is impossible to sell it with the same price as the one with no damage. Customers will never choose a damaged product over a perfectly fine product. So, to keep the damaged goods moving or selling, the retailers will lower the price or mark it down so it will attract customers. For competitive markdown, or also known as price matching, it is when a business or a shop reduce their product's price in order to match or compete with the price of their competitors. Because in business, if you offer a lower price over your competitors, the customers will go and patronize your products. But if you're offering higher price than your competitors, customers will get uninterested with the products you are offering, especially when they see that there is no great difference between the products you are offering and your competitors. So it is better to reduce the price of your product instead of maintaining the high price with no customers that is patronizing your product. Next in line is the two most common reasons why retailers do markdown. First is seasonal sales, second is poor performance. In seasonal sales, when the end of an season is approaching, the remaining products that are only appropriate for that season are being marked down by some retail stores. Instead of waiting for another whole year for that season to come around and bring back the product to the stockroom again, they will just reduce the original selling price of the product to attract the public to buy it immediately. For poor performance, when one product is making no sales, retailers are reducing its price in order for the customers to regain their interest to buy the product due to its low price. And once that product has been sold out, retailers must switch to something that is more attractive and more selling than the identified slow-moving products. Always take note that when you do markdown, you are getting rid of slow-selling items while making a profit. So it means that you should avoid excessive reduction, and according to Smith Retail, 20% reduction to a product's price is suitable. And here's how to compute for markdown. First, multiply the original selling price to the markdown rate. So here, the example is $10 times 20%. So it is equal to $2. After that, I'm going to deduct the $2 from $10. So it is now $8. $8 is the actual selling price, which is the price after the markdown. How retailers take markdown? In taking markdown, retailers should check or manage their inventory properly, since it can help them to identify what slow-selling products necessarily needs to mark down. Next is schedule the timing of your markdowns. Once the retailer notices that the product is taking so much store space for a long time, This is the time to decide how much should we mark down this product in order to regain the investments that we put in there. Retailers should compute the markdown carefully so they can still have profit for the slow-selling products. Why retailers take markdown? Retailers take markdown because they are trying to get rid of slow-selling products while having a profit or gaining back their investments at the same time. It keeps the slow-selling products moving since instead of storing it in the warehouse for a long time with its original price and making no profit, why not reduce it for a good value so this slow-selling merchandise will turn into cash? And that's the good thing about markdown. Eliminating slow-selling items while boosting the sales and its profit at the same time. And that is all for my topic, markdown. I hope I deliver properly what markdown is. Thank you for listening. God bless.
Hello everyone, so the topic that we are going to discuss are the pricing techniques for increasing sales and profits. But first, let us define what is price and pricing strategies. Price is the value that is put to a product or services and is the result of complex set of calculations, research and understanding, and risk-taking ability. While pricing strategy takes into account segments, ability to pay, market condition, competitor actions, trade margins, and input costs, among others. It is targeted at the defined customers and against competitors. Understanding your business cost structure and choosing the right pricing strategy are crucial steps towards achieving your profit goals. Many pricing strategies exist, which is why it may be wise to experiment until you find the strategy that is most effective for your individual business. Product cost and profitability. The cost of goods also includes the cost of any direct labor to produce the item. The expenses related to operating the business, known as operating expenses, includes overhead items such as advertising, payroll, marketing, building rent, and office supplies. Once you have clarity on what your products actually cost, look on how your competition prices their product so that you can establish a benchmark for your price. As a retailer, you also need to examine your channels of distributions such as online sales through your own websites and through other vendors. So now, let's proceed to the top pricing strategies. Before you can determine which retail pricing strategy to use in determining the right price for your product, you must consider the product's direct cost and other related expenses. These two key elements of overall product cost are termed cost of goods and operating expense. The most common pricing strategy is the markup pricing or cost plus pricing. It is the pricing strategy where the price of product or service is calculated by adding together the cost of product and the percentage of it as a markup. The percentage or markup is decided by the company, usually fixed at the required rate of return. Markup pricing is most often used in public utility pricing. So, to calculate the markup price, the formula is P is equals to AVC plus AFC plus X over Q, where AVC is the average variable cost, AFC is the average fixed cost, and X over Q is the markup per unit. And now, let's discuss the advantages of markup pricing. Markup pricing enables vendors to easily calculate the profits. Second, it requires little information, as information on demand and costs might not always be available. Markup pricing provides the means by which fair prices can be easily found. Prices based on full cost are more morally defensible and allow for revision of final price based on changes in price of raw materials and other expenses. And lastly, markup pricing reduces the cost of decision making. Despite of the advantages of markup pricing, there is also disadvantages. And these are, it provides incentive for inefficiency. And lastly, markup pricing includes sunk cost rather than just using incremental cost. The second top pricing strategies is the vendor pricing. Manufacturer suggested retail price or MSRP is a common strategy used by smaller retail shops to avoid price wars and still maintain a decent profit. For any products you resell, you'll find some suppliers have minimum average prices or MAP and may not let you continue to sell their products if you try to price below their MAP. The third top pricing strategy is the competitive pricing. Retailers considering competitive pricing strategy need to provide outstanding customer service to stand above the competition. There are two kinds of competitive pricing. First is pricing below competition. Simply means pricing the product lower than the competitor's price. This strategy works well if you, as a retailer, can negotiate the lowest buying prices from your suppliers, can reduce costs, and develop marketing strategy to focus on price specials. Next is the prestige pricing or the pricing above the competition. It may be considered when your location, exclusivity, or unique customer service can justify the higher prices. Retailers that stocks high-quality merchandise that isn't readily available at other locations may be quite successful in pricing products above their competitors. The fourth top pricing strategy is the psychological pricing. It is a technique of setting the price at a certain level where the customers perceive the price to be fair, a bargain, or a sale price. The most common method is ad pricing, which uses figures that end in 5, 7, or 9, such as 199 pesos, 299 pesos, and such. It is believed that consumers tend to round down the price of 199.98 to 199 rather than 200. Advantages of psychological pricing. It generates more sales. Second, it is easy to implement. Price bands, controls, and lastly, non-rational pricing. While the disadvantages of psychological pricing are it has long-term pricing expectations, second, calculation, and lastly, rational pricing. The fifth top pricing strategy is the keystone pricing. Keystone pricing involves doubling the cost paid for merchandise to set the retail price. The upside of this strategy is that as a small business owner or a retailer, you can focus more on any other tasks of your business because you can easily give prices to your products. Just double the price and you're done. You have the price of your product. The downside of this strategy is that one price does not fit all. Next, heavy competition equals lower profit margins. Third, products in demand mean more money in the till. And lastly, movement means money. The last top pricing strategy is the multiple pricing. This method involves selling more than one products in one price, such as 2 for 100, 2 for 50 pesos. Not only is this strategy is great for markdowns and sales events, but retailers have noticed that consumers tend to buy larger amounts when they use multiple pricing strategy. Advantages of multiple pricing strategy. First, multiple unit pricing helps in faster liquidation of the products. Second, it helps the customer to get better deals and reduces the per unit price of the product. And lastly, it helps the product to establish themselves by providing affordable prices to the customer and providing lucrative prices. The disadvantages of multiple pricing. First, multiple unit pricing reduces the profit margin of the products for the companies. And lastly, dealing with multiple unit pricing is cumbersome in case of record keeping. And that's it for our topic. I hope you learned from this video. Thank you for watching. God bless. The pricing techniques that the retailers use to increase sales and profits are markup pricing, vendor pricing, competitive pricing, psychological pricing, keystone pricing, and lastly, multiple pricing. Using the advanced technology such as computerized pricing models will help your business gauge the demand of products and set the optimum sale price. With increased usage of gadgets and internets, consumers in your retail establishments can compare prices with just a few strokes. Social media and mobile usage are causing business to reconsider their pricing decision. This holds for all types of products and services. It's particularly difficult for physical products that aren't distinguishable. Social media and other mobile channels enables consumers to consider more personal choices as well as other substitute products than they did before.
Everyone, I'm Almira Bautista from Group 4 and I'm the reporter number 6 who will be discuss the legal and ethical pricing issues. Any company make a big decision on how to price a commodity ethically. Business who uses ethical pricing tactics to market their goods and profit are much more valued than those that harm and defraud rivals or even customers. You must be able to spot ethical problems that construct fair pricing in order to practice ethical pricing. A pricing policy that is ethical goes beyond merely the following rule. Likewise, not all unfair pricing practices are deceptive or unconstitutional. Ethical choices can be difficult to make because there isn't always a clear line between morally right and wrong. A primary function of a marketing strategy is pricing. This amount determines profit margins, interest from consumers. Pricing can be the component that makes a business thrive. So, how to price products that can follow the legal requirements and ethical guidelines while still making profit? Let's go on. First is penetration or market pricing. This pricing strategy involves either a new business or product to attract buyers. Business will release the product at a cheaper price than they would usually charge. Once they build up a strong consumer base, they'll gradually lift the product's prices before it becomes profitable. So, does penetration or market pricing legal or ethical? And the answer is, this is not illegal pricing strategy unless it falls into predatory or undercutting pricing issues. Undercutting is where a company is constantly setting prices below the competitors to ensure they get sales and their competition does not. Those prevent companies from using these tactics. And here is another 5 ethical pricing issues. First is price fixing, collusion at its worst. Price fixing involves an agreement between a group of people on the same side of a market to buy or sell a good or service at a fixed price. So, the reason why price fixing is illegal and unethical is not that it hurts consumers. The key reason is that it violates on the basic requirements for markets to work efficiently. Bid rigging favoritism. It involves a promising commercial contract to one group even though multiple parties have the opportunity to submit a bid. Bid rigging is an illegal practice under the criminal or competition laws of most developed countries. The typical objective of bid rigging is to enable the winning party to obtain contracts at uncompetitive prices, at higher prices if they are the sellers, and lower prices if they were the buyers. Third is price discrimination, anti-favoritism. It is selling the same product at different prices to different groups of consumers. It is usually based on the maximum they are willing to pay. Legal or ethical? It is completely legal, although frustrating to consumers. The only price discrimination that would be illegal if the prices are changed due to any price discrimination. That would be illegal if the prices are changed due to any of the protected statuses like race, religion. Raising or lowering prices for people of protected statuses are both illegal. Fourth is price skimming, discriminating through time. Price for a product is first sold a very high price, then gradually lowered. It commonly seen in the tech industry. Is price skimming legal? Price skimming by itself is not illegal, but can be construed as unethical in certain cases. Fifth is supra-competitive pricing monopoly. A monopoly is when a company has exclusive control over a good or service in a particular market. Not all monopolies are illegal. For example, businesses might legally corner their market if they produce a superior product or are well managed. But monopolies are illegal if they are established or maintained through improper conduct such as exclusionary or predatory acts. This is known as anti-competitive monopolization. Legal and ethical issues retailers that should consider when setting prices. How to set retail prices right? first is dynamic pricing. And what is the advantage of dynamic pricing? One core advantage of dynamic pricing is the ability to maximize your profit with each customer. Second is manufacturer suggested retail price. Why SRP is needed? It is important to determine what the fair SRP to keep the cost consistent across the different retail stores. And the third is discount pricing. Sales, rebates, and discounts are the loudest and most popular pricing strategies used to catch the consumer's eye. Fourth is loss-leading pricing. What is the benefit of loss-leading pricing? It is to offer low-price products and benefit from the additional purchases that the customer makes. And the fifth is positioning. Why it is important? It is important to understand your customer, to look at your positioning, where do you want to position. Once you have decided, you will start to get an idea of your ideal pricing.